T-Mobile announced on March 15th, 2023 that it had acquired Mint Mobile. The acquisition was done in a cash and stock deal worth a whopping $1.35 billion. That's billion with a B. Mint Mobile is partially owned by actor Ryan Reynolds. You might have seen him in a lot of the Mint Mobile commercials, if not all of the Mint Mobile commercials. He is the spokesperson. Because he's part owner, he stands to make a pretty good chunk of money, which that's probably a pretty good day for him. But for those of you unaware, Mint Mobile is a budget-friendly mobile service provider that offers data plans as low as $15 a month. That's one of the lowest in the industry, and that's all done through these prepaid plans. But in this video, I'm gonna share my response on whether I think this acquisition is a good or maybe even a bad thing for Mint Mobile customers. So before I even get started, if you're new to the channel, my name is Richard Walls and I'm here to help you with career development and personal finance. So if either of those two topics are of interest to you, do make sure to subscribe down below and hit the notification bell so you get notified of when I post new videos. So with that said, let's get started. I think anytime you have a smaller company that's doing something sort of unique or different in the market, you get a growing customer base that if that customer base ends up having a good experience, you're able to turn them into loyal fans. Whatever magic sauce that this company has is what's really setting itself apart. And I'm gonna talk about what that magic is that Mint Mobile has. But when you have a much larger company in that same industry that comes in to acquire the smaller company, I think the tendency for the general public, or at least certainly the customers of that smaller company, is to believe that the smaller company is going to lose what made it popular in the first place. The big company takes over, maybe has different goals, maybe financial goals, maybe have different ideas, and they end up changing what the smaller company is doing, and it sort of just gets absorbed into whatever the larger company is all about. And then you have unhappy customers that perhaps end up leaving altogether. Now, this is a service that I've personally used for close to about a year at this point and have had nothing but a great experience. And I've talked about Mint Mobile at length in a couple of my videos here on this channel that you can check out after, of course, you watch this video. But let's take a step back and really assess the situation. What has made Mint Mobile popular and unique? One is that they have a good brand led by Ryan Reynolds. They've generally produced really pretty entertaining, pretty funny advertisements that people actually want to watch. And when you have a brand that can entertain you, it more or less endears the audience to that brand a little bit more than otherwise. And the viewer has a positive association with that brand. Second is they have a good product, or technically service, which is a mobile data plan that has actually operated already on T-Mobile's network infrastructure. And third point is that they offer this product/service at some of the most competitive prices in the industry. And this is partly made possible because they have very low overhead. They don't actually operate any brick and mortar stores. It's all done online. Now, the acquisition, in my mind, doesn't really change anything negatively as it relates to the quality of the product or the service that they offer, because they're still going to be on T-Mobile's network. If anything, it might actually get better if T-Mobile decides to basically up the priority of Mint Mobile customers during peak usage times. But of course, that remains to be seen, and I don't know that they would really be communicating whether they actually do that. I've personally had no issues with it so far, but then again, a lot of what I do is using Wi-Fi. I don't use the network a whole lot. And the other thing, it sounds like Ryan Reynolds will continue to be the spokesperson, so you will continue to be fed very entertaining, very funny ads if that's important to you. So the question on my mind, and I'm sure on the mind of many Mint Mobile customers, are they going to raise their prices? In the near term, I'd say no. I'd say this is very unlikely. T-Mobile acquired Mint Mobile specifically to capture that whole entire market of budget-conscious consumers. And they're very unlikely to disrupt that anytime soon. They don't want to acquire the company and then just have a bunch of customers leave, right? That makes probably very little sense. But would they raise their prices in the long term? And I would say that's certainly a possibility. In fact, in my mind, it's always been a possibility with Mint Mobile. They could have raised their prices at any point in time, and if they were to stay independent, there's no telling that they would have kept their prices the way they are today. They could have increased them later. But the good news is that there's still quite a bit of incentive for T-Mobile to keep the prices as is for Mint Mobile customers. T-Mobile is the second largest network provider in the US, second only to Verizon, and having passed up AT&T a few years back. Mint Mobile happens to be a really great opportunity for them to help bridge that gap to compete or better compete with Verizon and start eating into that market share with, again, the low cost or the budget conscious consumer, all of whom are on low cost prepaid plans. And their goal, not surprisingly, is to be numero uno. Not only that, they're coming off of one of their most profitable quarters in recent years. So there's less pressure on them having to increase profit margins because, well, they're already there. They don't need to do anything with the pricing of Mint Mobile. Of course, conditions can change over time. There could be different market dynamics at play that result in them increasing prices. Of course, all of this is a possibility, but you as a consumer still have a good number of choices. There's still quite a bit of competition out there between major carriers and many mobile virtual network operators, which is what Mint Mobile had been. You're bound to find a service that fits your needs and fits your budget if Mint Mobile ends up getting out of line. Folks, let me know down in the comments below what you think is going to happen with Mint Mobile. Are they going to raise their prices? Is the quality of the product and service, is it going to stay the same? Is this whole thing a good thing or a bad thing for Mint Mobile customers or even T-Mobile customers? And if you want to learn more about my experience with Mint Mobile, I'm going to leave you with 2 videos that you can check out for a little bit more detail on that. So with that said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you around.